Good morning. Hey. What's that about the title? Oh, yes. Oopsies. Let's see here. How can I change that right now? Title. I don't even see the title anywhere. Edit. Grade 10 Advanced. And it is not the 15th. Oh my gosh. I just copied the settings. Oops. And today's the 19th. Thank you. Grade 10 Advanced, May 19th. Aha. Thank you for pointing that out. I think I forgot to change the date on the grade 9 one as well. I'll have to change that later. Just wait for a few more people to roll on into the shop, and then we'll get started. Oh, good morning. Goose wishes everyone good morning as well. She's just right here. Say hi to everyone, Goose. Hi. Say hi. Goose, no, don't do that. Now she's trying to play with my pencil. Do you think I'm encouraging her? No. No, I'm not encouraging her. Am I? Goose, am I encouraging you to be bad? Very bad cat over here. Very bad cat. Okay, we can probably get started now. We're like 5 minutes into the class, so my guess is that just a lot of folks are just gonna watch after the fact, which is totally fine. What I thought I could do today is I'm gonna start today's class with a little explanation of Dropbox and how to use Dropbox. So I went over this with my grade 9s, and what I told them was that this weekend I made a video about how to use Dropbox to create a PDF. And the video, it took quite some time to film, and I got really into the details, and when I was editing it, I kind of realized that I kind of went overboard with information, and things weren't super clear. Oh, goodness. Excuse me. Yeah, things weren't super clear. I kind of just went into too much detail. So what I thought I would do today is I'll just do it live. I'm just going to give you a live demonstration of what to do. And while we do that, I can show you the fact that Goose really likes my coffee. She especially likes the new Colombian coffee that I've been using. Check this out. She has just been loving this coffee. So this is my coffee mug. Or not my coffee jug. I don't know what you call it. The thing that I put coffee into. I do a pour over. And she's just been eating it up, literally. She just loves coffee. As if she needs more energy, eh? Oh my gosh, Goose, you're kind of a nut. Total nut. Total nutcase over here. Anyway, so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to start off just with a live demonstration of making a PDF in Dropbox. It is super easy. really straightforward, and I think that this should help people get started with their PDFs, because we all have PDFs to make now, because either you're going to do the final exam, in which case you'll have to submit your work for the final exam, or the other thing that you might need, or in fact you will need, is for part A of the final assessment. Everybody has to do part A. Not just people who are doing the final exam, not just people who are doing the final project. Everyone is doing part A, which is the topic map. And the topic map, I'm assuming you will probably want to do on paper and follow up with a scan and submit a PDF. You could do the whole thing on the computer if you wanted to, but my guess is that you'll probably want to do it on paper and then submit a PDF of your work. So what I thought we could do now is I'll just show you how to sign up for Dropbox. It's fairly straightforward. It is free. You don't have to have a free account if you don't want to. Okay, I'm just trying to get things organized here. Okay, so I need to blow my nose because I just sneezed. Give me 1 second here. Otherwise I'll be sniffling the whole time and it'll be really gross. Okay, excuse me. Okie dokie. So here's what we're gonna do. We'll head over to Dropbox.com. Dropbox.com. Oh, and you can't see this. Well, give me 1 second here. Okay, I just have to change something in my streaming software so you guys can see everything. There we go. Okay, that's better. Now I have to bring my mouse back. Okay, so here's back to the live demonstration. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna head over to Dropbox.com. This is the home page here. So you can try like their full-fledged professional Dropbox service. They have 2 tiers. The first tier is the free tier. I would suggest doing the free tier. There's really nothing that you need, certainly not for making a PDF, that is in their like pro version. So I would suggest getting Dropbox Basic. And what Dropbox Basic is it gives you 2 gigabytes of online storage that you can use anywhere. You can install Dropbox on your phone, then you would have it accessible on your phone. You can also use any web browser and access your Dropbox account, and then all of your files are there. It's essentially just like Google Drive. In fact, it's exactly the same as Google Drive. But you don't need a Gmail account for it. You can use any email address that you want. Also, if you do want to have the pro version, it's not cheap. It's about I think it's a couple $100 per year, but you do get a substantial amount of storage space. I think you have 2 terabytes of storage space, so that's quite a lot of online storage. You don't need that to make a PDF, so I'm going to suggest that you get Dropbox Basic, which is this one here. And then what you would do is you just click sign up for free, and then give them your information, agree to their terms, and then create an account. If you already have a Gmail account, then you can just click this button and it will just sign you up right away. Then you don't have to worry about anything. So I would suggest doing, like, if you already have a Gmail account or even a Google account, it doesn't have to be gmail.com, but any sort of email address that you've associated with Google, that would include your Winnipeg School Division email address. You can punch that into Dropbox, and then Dropbox will use Google for all of the authentication purposes. So every time you log in, all of the security would be handled by Google, which is really nice. And you've probably seen that lots of websites are doing that. to just do to let Google handle all of the security aspects of logging in, because logging into a website actually is a very complicated endeavor in terms of cryptography and making sure that the authentication is secure. So yeah, they've kind of let Google handle that. Dropbox is fairly secure though. About a long time ago, maybe 8 or 9 years ago, there was one major security flaw that was patched, and since then, I don't think I've heard of anything negative about Dropbox. In any case, basically what it is it gives you the ability to have like 2 gigabytes of free storage accessible anywhere around the world. So I think it's a great service. I really think it's an important thing to have as a student. I can't imagine doing any of the classes that I did over the past 10 years without a Dropbox account. Maybe later I can show you just how I organized all of my school files for when I was in university, and you'll see that, like, okay, yeah, it makes a lot of sense to have a Dropbox account. So yeah, let's say that we've signed into Dropbox. We have the free account. So there's several ways of accessing your files once you have Dropbox. The first and most straightforward way is just through their website. So just through Dropbox.com. And it's basically just a web interface, and you can see all of your files. They're organized fairly clearly. And then the other way is to access it on your phone. So you can use your phone to access your files. So I'm going to be using an iPhone. As far as I understand, it's exactly the same with Android as well. So this is basically what it looks like. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the camera on my iPad, and I'm going to film my phone. I think that's the most straightforward way of doing it, as far as I can tell. So here's the camera. Okay, so here's what the app looks like. So you can see that I've got the Dropbox Plus plan. You don't need that. And then yeah, so I've got 2 terabytes. I have 34 devices. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to clean that up. But just over the years, using different computers and things like that, it saves all of that. Also, you'll have to excuse, my desk is in really rough shape. It's just a cheap IKEA desk, and several years ago I used a razor blade on here to cut some paper. And I have a new tabletop, but the varnish on it really is smelly. So I haven't put it back on yet. So anyway, so these are the devices that I've had. I've got 34 devices connected to this account. I really only actually use maybe 2 or 3, maybe 4 accounts. So you can have camera uploads on. So basically what that does is it every time you take a picture on your phone, it'll upload it to your Dropbox account. As far as I understand, at least this was the way it was when I made my Dropbox account several years ago, is that if you do this, then what they'll do is they'll give you extra space for free. So they'll give you space on top of the 2 gigabytes to begin with. So this is a good way to quickly get more space, is to connect your camera. You can also make your files accessible offline, so that if you don't have a strong internet connection all the time, your files aren't like held hostage by the internet. You can still access your files offline, and then you can connect computers and all that. So the files tab, this is where all of your files are. These are some recent files that I made. So these are all PDFs that I made using the app, because the default file name is just the date followed by the time that you took the picture, and then I've got quite a few more files in my root. So this is everything. So I'll show you what I was talking about with school. So I've got so this is my teaching one. I don't actually use Dropbox anymore for teaching. I use Google Drive, but for school, this is what I use for school. So this is my B.Ed, my Bachelor of Education. This was grad school. This is the program that I'm in currently. I'm taking classes right now as we speak, actually. I spent the weekend doing an assignment. This is some of the research that I did for my undergrad, and then this was my undergrad. So if you look at my undergrad, I've got everything sort of scheduled by years. So if you go to my last year, these were the classes that I took in my last year of my undergrad. So if we go to like, I don't know, maybe, I'm trying to think of one that was good. Oh, applied algebra, that was a good one. So those are all the assignments. Oh, I wonder what happened to assignment 5 and 6. And then these are the assignments, and I was using a program called LaTeX to typeset my documents, and then this is my assignment. So this is my assignment for that class on so winter 2013. Oh no, this was the actual assignment itself. My submitted. Oh yeah, of course I called it ASS for assignment. It's short for assignment. I'm clever. And then yeah, so that was my assignment that I submitted. Oh, looks like that the answer was sneaky. This was a cryptography assignment. The decrypted message was sneaky. Anyway, so that's how I use Dropbox. So I used it for all of my school. So yeah, and if you go to other years, you can see other work too. Oh, look at that, linear algebra. What did I do in here? I mean, not all classes. I mean, most of the classes that I did was just on paper. I didn't actually do everything on the computer, especially in a math setting. But let's see. Yeah, notes. What did I do for notes in this one? Oh yeah, this was a class where they gave us notes, and then we would sort of fill in the blanks, which was a really cool way of doing it. Anyway, so that's kind of how I use Dropbox. So the whole point of this video that I'm trying to show you is that you can make your own PDF, and you can do that by clicking Create over here. And what we'll do is we'll create and we'll scan a document, and that is going to open up the camera. The first time you do this, you will be asked if you have permission to use the camera. So you will have to give them permission to use the camera. Now, I just kind of went and dug through some old junk, and I found an old notebook that had some notes in it from when I was teaching. So we're going to use this. I'm going to have to stand up here. We are going to use this book. This was a class that I taught. What year was this? Spring some point. I think it was spring 2016 that I taught this class. So this was a fun little class. Hey, look at this, biconditional statements. I think we talked about biconditional statements. Either that or I did that I think I actually did it with my grade 9s. Anyways, this is a fun class. So let's say I wanted to turn this into a PDF. Well, once here, I'll go back. I guess I can't go back. So once you've started, click that Create button. What you can do is, okay, it's not focusing. There we go. It's focused, and it's taking this picture. Now, sometimes it's a little bit janky. Like you'll notice that the corners aren't where they're supposed to be, right? Like there's a corner way up here. There's all this white space here. So what you can do is you can click this Edit button right there, and just move those corners to where you want. And you can kind of see that on the side there, it kind of zooms in for you, so you can get a nice exact point of where you want that corner to be. And I'll do it with this corner as well, just to make sure that everything is nicely lined up. And that looks good to me, so I'll hit done. And there you have it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a second page to this PDF, because that's really what makes PDFs useful, is that you can have multiple pages in one PDF. So this button right here in the corner, that is to add a second page. So click that. And then now you can add a second page. I'm going to go and maybe do the next page here. Ooh, counterexamples. Isn't that fun? So it really helps if it is flat. Another thing that really helps is if, I mean, you don't have like a double page like this. Like if it's just a single page like that, that really helps. And then finally, what also really helps is if you have some contrast to the background, because then the software will really easily be able to tell where the page actually is. So let's see here. I'm gonna just zoom in here, and it's totally out of focus. I'm not sure why it's not focused. There it is. And even though like as you can see, like this is not like a nice rectangle, right? This is more of a trapezoid, right? Like these are not right angles here, right? Like these are not right angles. But the software was able to sort of straighten it out, and that looks pretty good. I have to say, that looks really good. Now I am gonna sort of clean up the corners there, just sort of make sure that I don't see that other page, because we don't need that. Okay, where is it? There. I think that looks about good. And then we'll hit done. And look at that, looks beautiful. So let me get rid of this. And then what you can do now is you can hit next. And I'm going to call this how about example? Oops, examples. Example, and then I'll call it 2903. Because that is the course number of that class. So example 2903.pdf. Then, so these are recent folders that you can choose from. I'm going to choose just the root of the folders. So that's just the first folder that you see when you turn Dropbox on. I'm going to hit save, and now I'll scroll down. Oh, here it is, example 2903. And you can see it's a really small file, which is really nice, right? It's less than a megabyte, even though it's 2 pages. When we click it, yeah, this looks great. So this is our PDF that we made. You know, it's not perfect, right? Like there's like in that corner you can kind of see some of the background. But if you really, if it's just like a flat piece of loose leaf, and it's just and you're laying it flat on the ground, and you've got a nice contrasty background. Like this table is kind of not the best because it's very light. Usually what I do is I don't know if you can see over there. That's usually where I do my scanning, because this table it's a dark wood, so the pages really pop out, and then the software is able to say, oh yeah, this dark stuff is the background, and the white page is what I want to scan. So yeah, this is like it's quite high quality. Like you can zoom in quite a bit, and it's really nice. I think that this is a great scan. And now that it's in your Dropbox folder, it's in the cloud. So if you have Dropbox installed on your computer at home, then instantly the file will be on your computer. You don't have to send it to yourself. You don't have to email it to yourself. It will just be on your computer. So when you install Dropbox on your either Windows or Mac or Linux system, it will ask you to find a folder to place all of your Dropbox files in. And when you do that, then anytime you have something like any change or a new file in your Dropbox account, it will automatically be on your computer. As well, it's on your phone. So if you would like to share this, what you can do is, you can either open the file, or you can just click here, these little 3 dots, and you can copy the link. And each one of these files that you make has its own sort of secure link. So it's some like really long link, and you can copy this link. And now what I'll do is I will send it to my iPad, and there we have it. I mean, it opened in Dropbox because that's what it's meant to do, but and I'm already logged in, so it just opened the file in my Dropbox account. But if I had sent this link like to someone else who doesn't even have Dropbox, they can still access the file. They would just open it in a browser. Another cool thing is that if you want to submit your work on the what am I trying to say? Yeah, so like let's say I have a Google Classroom thing that I would like you to make. So maybe what I can do is I can open up Google Classroom. So here's Google Classroom. Here's the app. And maybe here I'll just do something with AP Calculus because I don't think. Okay, yeah. So this is what the AP Calculus thing looks like. I'm going to share something with my class, and I will. I guess you can't really see where I'm pointing, but like right over here there is a attached file. So this is kind of what you would see. And I could use something like a Google Drive link, use camera, or I can click on a file. I can upload a file, and what you can do is you can click browse, and as far as I understand, this is the same as like on Android as well. So if you go into locations, Dropbox is just part of your file system now on your phone. So you can kind of scroll around, find that example that we made. What was it, example 2903? I think this was it. And then now we've gone ahead and uploaded it. And now my AP Calculus students are probably confused why I'm posting this, but maybe I just won't post it. So yeah, there you have it. So you can actually upload documents directly from your Dropbox account using your phone. So I highly suggest having a Dropbox account. There are so many good reasons to have a Dropbox account. It's super easy to make a PDF, and once you have that PDF, it's everywhere, right? It's on your computer. If you have an iPad, it's on your iPad. If you don't have a computer, you can still access your Dropbox account using any other computer. Like if you're, maybe at school, like on a Chromebook, you can just go to Dropbox.com. Type in your name and password, and there's all your files that you can have accessed. Now, I know that Google Drive is another great service. Also, OneDrive is really good, and they all have kind of the same system. The only reason I'm suggesting Dropbox is because Dropbox is cross-compatible, so it will work with Windows, Mac, and Linux. Although on Linux it does work a little bit funky. You do have to install some third-party software, but if you're already on Linux, you already know that nothing. I mean, I shouldn't say nothing works on Linux, but there's going to be some extra stuff that you have to install, but it does work perfectly on Linux. Whereas OneDrive tends not to work on anything other than Windows. I mean, it does work on Mac, but it's not very nice. It doesn't work very well. It also is very resource intensive, so it uses a lot of your CPU. And then also on Linux, it's a nightmare. It's almost impossible to run OneDrive on Linux. Google Drive is a fantastic service. It works perfectly on all three operating systems that I've mentioned, Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. The only thing about Google Drive that just drives me nuts, so to speak, is if we go to the Google Drive app. Here, I'll open it up on my phone. Drive. Okay, here we go. So take a look at this. This is, I find, very frustrating. Oh yeah, I guess you can't see that. Okay, so here's the Google Drive app. Click plus. You cannot make a PDF. There's no scan document. So, I mean, what the heck? Why? From what I understand, if you have Android, this will work. There's an option on here for Android to make a PDF. I don't have an Android device, so I cannot verify that. But from what I understand, it should work on Android. Yeah, so that's why I'm not suggesting OneDrive or Google Drive, and I'm recommending Dropbox, is because it's cross compatible, and also you can make PDFs with it. So and it's free for 2 gigabytes. I think with OneDrive and with Google Drive, their free options offer quite a bit more storage. I think Google Drive, you get 15 gigabytes, and I'm not sure what it is with OneDrive. I think it's 8 gigabytes or 10 or something like that. So there are other options out there, but Dropbox seems to be the one that makes the most sense for these purposes. For just like if you're only going to be using it to be making PDFs, then I would highly suggest getting Dropbox. So yeah, I hope that wasn't too much information. I hope it wasn't too boring. Also, I hope that if you already have like a system for making PDFs, you aren't annoyed that you had to sit through this. I did, like I said, I did make a video this weekend, but it just, when I was editing it, it was like, okay, this doesn't make sense. I went back and forth and I forgot to show a thing, so I went back and showed it again. It was just, I realized I would have had to reshoot it, and I thought, well, I'll do a live demonstration. And so there's our live demonstration. I hope that it was okay for you. I gotta put my keyboard back on my computer, and we've got about 12 minutes to talk about the sign law. So, Friday, we looked at this question. So I give you an oblique triangle, and we were asked to calculate all of the measurements. So it was, well, I guess it was, we knew the angle C, right? So where is the angle? No, sorry. We knew the angle A, B, and C. So we knew this angle A. We knew the angle, or the side B, and we knew the side C. So this was a SAS triangle. So this was a sassy triangle. So that means that you can actually solve the entire triangle. So we know everything about it. And we were able to solve for it, right? We figured out all of the missing, the one missing side and the 2 missing angles. And the thing about it was that it was a lot of work. Like, look at all that calculation, right? So I'm hoping what you were thinking was that there's got to be a better way, right? There's got to be a better way to solve the rest of the stuff on this triangle. And if you were thinking that, then you'll be very pleased to hear that there is a better way of solving these triangles. Now, I would have liked to do just one more example, just to really drive home the fact that this is hard to do. But we're just going to skip ahead. I want to get on with this. I spent pretty much the whole class talking about Dropbox, so I kind of want to get the ball rolling here. One thing I need you to understand, that solving this stuff is hard. It takes time, right? It's annoying, right? So I'm hoping that we can have sort of an artificial motivation to really simplify all this work. And maybe it's not completely artificial, because we did actually solve this yesterday, or on Friday, and just looking at, like, this is a lot of work. It's annoying. No one wants to do this amount of work. Nobody, I promise you. So what we're going to do is we're going to learn about the law of sines. And the law of sines really simplifies all of this, and it really just packages it up in a nice little system. So let's talk about the law of sines. The law of sines. There's also a law of cosines that we'll learn pretty soon too. And I thought maybe what we could do is we could learn the law of sines, use it once, and then tomorrow we'll do the full derivation. So derive the formula, talk about why the formula is the way it is. Okay, so the law of sines. Let's see here. Okay, so it's a fairly straightforward formula. So if triangle ABC has sides A, B, and C. So A, like these are the points, capital A, capital B, capital C, right? These are so basically, I'll draw a little diagram just to help us out, just so we can visualize this. So we've got the angle, or sorry, the points A, B, and C, and the opposite sides would correspond to the sides. So this would be lowercase a, this would be lowercase c, this would be lowercase b. Well, you'll be happy to hear that the law of sines really simplifies all of our work here, because it turns out that sine of A over A is equal to sine of B over B, which is equal to sine of C over C. Isn't that nice? Like, look how simple that formula is. It's so nice. It really just simplifies everything. So that means like if we knew, like if I know two angles and a side that sort of corresponds with one of the angles that we know, well, that means I can solve for pretty much everything else. Because, well, if I know like A, then I know sine of A. And if I know A, well, then I know A. So that means I know all of this. So that gives me an equation with basically one unknown, because I would know sine of B as well, right? So that means that I could solve for this, right? So the law of sines takes all of that work that we did last week, and that was a lot of work, right? Like it took a lot of time, a lot of calculation. There was a lot of room for error, right? And by the way, that's one of the main reasons why we simplify things in math. It's not, I mean, the joke, the running joke is that mathematicians are lazy, right? That's not the reason why we simplify things. We don't simplify things because we're lazy. We simplify things so that A, we have a better understanding of it, and B, most importantly, is that we make fewer mistakes in our calculations. Any calculation that you make is an opportunity for an error, right? So anytime there's a shortcut, it's not because we're lazy, it's because we want to avoid making errors. So this formula opens up a lot of room for us just to simplify our work and go directly to the answer. So let's do a quick example, and then we'll call it a day, I think. So let's do this quick example. So we're going to solve the triangle ABC. And what we mean by solving a triangle is, or I guess I'll say, evaluate all sides, or maybe I should say find all sides and angles. Okay, so basically solve everything that there is to know about this triangle. Oh yeah, and also my streaming thing isn't the way I want it. There we go, that's what I want. Okay. Okay, so that looks good. So we're gonna solve this triangle, and the triangle is this one here. So I'm gonna be given the angle B. Angle B is 29 degrees. 29 degrees. Angle C is 105. Angle C is 105, and side B is equal to 30. Okay. Not 30 degrees, 30 units, okay? So let's go ahead and look at what this triangle might be looking like. Okay, so let's say that this is the angle B, this would be the angle C, this would be A over here. So C is 105 degrees, this is 29 degrees, and we don't know what this one is, but we can figure it out. So that would be, let me grab my calculator, be 180 minus 105 minus 29, which would be 46. So this is 46 degrees. Okay, that looks good.
All right, what's next? Oh yeah, and then the side B, which would be this one over here, would be 30. Okay. So, so I've already found the missing angle. So maybe I'll put this in a different color. So this is 46 degrees. So I've started solving it already. I've already found that one missing angle. Now we need to find the missing sides, and the sort of the heart of this is going to be these two sides, because I know that sine of B over B is equal to sine of A over A, which is equal to sine of C over C. Now, here's the thing. I know the following things. I know all the angles, which means that I can calculate sine of B, I can calculate sine of A, and I can calculate sine of C. The thing that I don't know are the lengths of A and C, but I do know the length of B. So I'm going to start off by calculating sine of B over B, and then I'm going to solve for A, and then I'm going to solve for C. Okay, so I'll show you how that's going to work in just a second. So if sine of B, or here, let's start off by just writing sine of B, well, which that's sine of 29 degrees. So sine of 29 degrees over 30. Let's go ahead and calculate that. So that would be, I'm just going to do this, sine of 29 over divided by 30 equals, so this is 0.01616. Okay, so that is what the ratio is between the sine of 29 and 30 degrees. Now I know that that is equal to sine, that's equal to the sine of A over A. So let's make an equation. So I know that sine of A is sine of 46, right? Because A is 46. Okay, and then the side A, that's what I want to find out. But that's equal to this whole thing, 0.01, and I should say that I rounded there. So I'm going to put this little dot over the equal sign like that. So this is equal to 0.011616. Okay, so that looks good. Now all I have to do is solve for A. So what I'll do is I'll sort of do a cross multiply sort of thing. So we'll switch these guys around, and what I get is that sine of 46 degrees over 0.01616 is equal to A. And now I just solve this. So what I'm going to do is, I'll kind of show you how I use my calculator here. I think that this sort of thing is useful. So I'll show you with my camera. Okay, here we go. Here's my fancy calculator. This should work for pretty much any other calculator too. So what I'm going to do is, so I've got my answer here, right? The 0.01616032007. A nice little trick is, well, what we want to do. What are we trying to do, by the way? We've got sine of 46 divided by that number. So what we're going to do, I'm going to do sine of 46 divided by, oh boy, now I'm talking big stuff, but now I forget how to do this on this calculator. Oh, here it is, answer, right there. So this answer button is just going to pull the last answer that I had. The last answer was 0.1616. So that gives me 44.5127. So let's cancel this. So A is equal to, A is equal to 44, I'll write 44.51, and I'm going to use this little rounding symbol. Okay, so that's one side. So A is 44.51, 44.51. And then now that just leaves C, and we're going to do pretty much exactly the same thing with C. So I know that sine of C and C is 105. So sine of 105 degrees over the side C, which we're trying to solve, is equal to 0.01616. And let's go ahead and solve that. So I'm just going to switch these guys around, do some cross multiplying, and I'm left with sine of 105 is equal to C, or sine of 105 over 0.01616 is equal to C, which is equal to, and I'll go back to my calculator. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, okay, I'll do. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this thing back in my memory. There's probably a better way of doing this, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do sine of 29 over 30, right? I'm just getting, so now that's the last number that's in my memory, and then now I'm going to do, oh shoot, what was it again? Well, I've got the question right here, so I can just look at the question. I forget what I'm supposed to do. Oh yeah, sine of 105. That's what I was looking for. So sine of 105. So I'll do sine of 105 divided by the answer. See what I get. And 59.77. Okay, so 59.77. Now I can put this back. 59.77. Oops, that's not what I want. 59.77. Oops. And it's approximately equal. And now we're done. So just to be clear, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write all of the sides that I've solved for. So I know that angle C is equal to, what did I say? Oh, sorry, angle A is 46 degrees. Angle A is 46 degrees. The side A is equal to 44.51, and the side C is equal to 59.77. Okay, and what I can do too, if you want, just put those dots on top just to say that you had to do some rounding, but it should be pretty clear that we have to do some rounding. Okay, so that's pretty much it. So that's the law of sines. It really simplifies a lot of our work. I'm not going to assign any homework yet because I still want us to do the derivation of this formula. I want us to derive this formula. And I also want us to do a little more practice of doing this work without the law of sines. Just to really drive home the fact that without the law of sines, this is a lot of work. With the law of sines, it's still a fair amount of work, but at least it's a little more straightforward. So yeah, there you have it. So for the exit slip today, so exit slip. Will you use Dropbox or will you use another service? And then if you do, which service? Just curious. So are you planning on using Dropbox? If not, do you have another service that you already use? Like maybe use Google Drive and you use like an Android device and you can do it all in that one app. Maybe you just do it on the computer. There's a million different ways of making a PDF. I just showed you the way that I do the most often. And I think it's the most straightforward way, but there's probably other ways too. So yeah, let me know if you plan on using Dropbox, and if you don't and you're planning on using a different service, which service? So there you have it. I hope you guys are doing well. Sorry for going overtime a little bit, but yeah, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a good day. Bye-bye.